Right, good afternoon, everybody. It's the L4G Community TV show with Alex Murray. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good, thank you. And of course, myself, Chris Ogle. We're a little bit later than scheduled today. That's because it's been a week of huge numbers of miles, and I've just got back in the saddle like about 10 minutes ago. So the trusty researching captain, Alex, has been on the case today. So take it away, Alex. What's the schedule? What's the running order?
I'm going to start with the news, as we generally do.
Yep.
Last week was the exceptions to the rule. Then we're going to move to some charity stuff. Then a bit of a kind of roundup of the events we've had this week, last week, and coming up next week.
Right.
And then a kind of a little section on the local elections. I'm going to break down some of the manifestos, see what you think, and see what you would do differently if I put you in the hot seat of being a candidate for what we mayor.
Sounds good.
Because it's very easy to say, I wouldn't do that, I wouldn't do this, but it's very difficult to say what you would do. So I thought I'll challenge you to see what you would do if you were in charge of the borough council.
Up for that. Although it has to be said, I'm not standing for any of these positions. But
everyone wants you to.
Yeah.
Anyway, so on to the news. Obviously, as I've talked about before, we had the Watford 10K run. It was on Monday, Bank Holiday Monday.
How did it go? I must confess, I missed it.
Yeah, I noticed. To be fair, I wouldn't have noticed. Cathy Park was mobbed. You couldn't move for people. There was family because the weather was nice. So lots of people came out for the morning. There was 3 separate runs. There was the 10K itself, a 3K kind of children's run, and a 1K fun run, which is mainly aimed at kind of the under 5s really. So it was a very good day, and about kind of they looked to raise about £20,000 this year, which is the record.
And do we know how they've done so far, or when's that come out? That news?
We're not sure yet. We're waiting to kind of count everything up, but it looked like a good day. The winning time was 35 minutes 31 seconds, so that gives you an idea of the fast pace. But I reckon it kind of went from half an hour the winning time to about an hour and a half at the kind of the back markers. So a good spread of people.
That's quite quick, half an hour, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean you're looking at a kilometre every about 3 minutes, so you'll be pushing it.
Mm.
But obviously you're talking about kind of that elite level kind of
running. We had our very own Marek running, did we not?
Indeed, I believe his time was around 40 minutes. I will have to have a look, see if I can find it. Yeah, I saw him a couple of times. He's obviously, we've seen him before at events. He's big onto his fitness, isn't he?
Mm.
So I mean, he was even quite good in a way of helping people who come back into it. He finished quite early on. Here he is. 48 minutes 32 seconds.
Well, that's not too bad, is it?
So that places him. Find it now. Probably kind of middle of the road, kind of mid-school, that's really impressive. To be fair, but no, he was good at helping people. He finished quite early, so he then went back to about 250 meters and helped someone else finish, and then came back to someone else and he would help them finish.
Oh, that's good of him, yeah.
That's good of him. So again, successful day. All the money going split between Watford Main Cap and the Watford Round Table. So both things I'm involved in.
Did like Watford Men Cap? Were they there? Were they running?
They had a stall and they're giving away some stuff for the kids to get people involved. We had some business cards and that was about it. But that says the organisation of it is a very different scale. So yeah. It was a good day and nice weather brought out a lot of families and all the money is being raised with good causes. So it's really good.
Excellent stuff.
Moving on, as we were meant to talk about last week, but obviously we ran out of time last week.
Yeah, we've got an opportunity this week to catch up with the news because last week we had all these guests on and we never even had a chance to talk about the news, did we?
No, we didn't really get a chance to talk, to be fair. Yakimeshi, that the restaurant people may know that was on Clarendon Road, has closed.
Yeah, that's a shame. I only ever went there once, but
yeah, I only been there once and was looking to go again last week, and I saw a tweet saying they're looking good news, we've got a place in Camden Market. So I went, congratulations, does that mean you guys are closing Watford? And you went, yes, unfortunately so. So a shame. I mean, always trying to, if we found somewhere smaller and independent, we kind of like, but it's obviously, they've obviously seen Watford as a testing ground for it, and obviously Camden might suit it more.
Yeah, I mean, Camden's got quite an eclectic mix of like food people there, so yeah, I hope it works out for them down there.
Definitely. I mean, they were nice guys, and we both met them. But I just thought they had a big selling point in Watford. It was different in Camden. They've got lots of kind of takeaway box food almost, whether it's Chinese, whether it's Indian, whether it's Thai. So it's going to be difficult for them, but
yeah,
they've got to back themselves. Next up, living in Watford is Ricky Week. It's starting again. Starts tomorrow.
Is it? Yeah, it's the 10th to the 18th, isn't it?
It's 10th to 18th. There's a few things going on throughout the week. I've jotted down something. It's a week-long event, kicking off tomorrow with some events, and there's kind of beauty pageants and children's events, and then the main thing I'm going to be going to is the Canal Festival next Saturday. That's the 17th.
Right. Okay. And how's that's a bit of a sidetrack, but how's your father getting along with the Nash Mills thing? Is that?
They had Mike Penning, one of the MPs, maybe Mike Penning. My dad can't remember, to be fair. He can't remember if it was MEP, an MP, a councillor. But someone in the political world came down last night. It was about an hour late, so. But it's going well. Again, they're just still waiting for it to be signed off. So when I hear something, I'll bring some news to. But they all seem pretty positive about it. But it's just they need to get the lease of the boat base, so then they can open it up, because at the moment they can only go on the boats because that's the only thing they own.
Right.
But they're going to be there at the Canal Festival, Waterways Experience, so I will pop along and see them and then get some lunch and a good day out. The weather's like it is today, it should be quite good.
Yeah.
Apart from the rain, it's been pretty bad the last few days. But you haven't been here, so you've probably been quite dry.
No, but I've been through some rain.
So moving on from Ricky Week. Just along probably the kind of the road really. This Sunday coming, that's be the 11th.
Yeah.
It's a French market in Chorley Wood.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Where have I written my notes here? Chorley Wood. I've written something. Yeah, French market, Chorley Wood, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Kind of French cheeses, fruit and vegetables. So you're not necessarily buying local, but it's better than the supermarket, so you can get some fresh cheese, some fresh veg, some
garlic,
Mediterranean produce.
Take my bike along.
Yeah, so that's that coming up on Sunday.
Right, brilliant.
Starting for next week in 2, there's an art exhibition run by Watford and Bushy Art Society. So if you want to look to buy a bit of artwork for your wall, I see you've got a few white spaces you can buy, or looking for gifts for certain people. Pop along. They've got an art exhibition even opposite Next. So pop along, see if you see any piece of art you like.
That's down the bottom and near the food hall, is it?
Next is Next is where Marks and Spencer's is.
Yeah.
It's going to be in a little kind of open area there where they've got kind of a presenting area.
Under the stairs, isn't it?
Yeah, under the stairs and around that area. So
right.
I agree at Marks and Spencer's and Next. And kind of wrapping up the news, a bit more on the health campus really. Some figures come out. They've announced that the initial cost for it would be £550,000.
For what?
The running cost up to now, the project up to now, has been £550,000.
For what? The top of the town?
No, for the health campus.
Oh, the health campus.
Yeah, obviously we talked about this last week. If you missed Sarah Jane on last week's show, I'd go back and listen to it again because it's really interesting. It gets you much more.
What's cost 550,000? The spend.
The spend so far is £550,000.
What, like getting the plans and all that sort of stuff?
The whole process. I mean, the paper wasn't that descriptive, but they did say £21,000 that has gone on consultants' fees, whatever they be. So
£500,000 has already been sunk into this project.
But the good thing is, we're going to make the money back from when it makes a profit, so it'll be fine.
Right.
So they're initially spending the money. So the council saying the court case may affect, because they've obviously spent this money. The council worried that if they don't get the product sold, they're going to lose £550,000.
Well, they will, won't they?
Yeah, but it's kind of, you take the risk, really. I can see why the council want to force it through, because they need to now, because they've spent this money.
Yeah, but that's the thing that Sarah was saying. It's like, if they'd gone about this the right way and got engagement and consultation from the people affected from the start, and not tried to get a fait accompli with clever worded questions and just shoehorning it through, you might have ended up with the result they wanted anyway. But when you start, dare I say it, giving people, like consultations where you are, by the very nature of the questions, engineering the answer you want, then you're going to put people's backs up. And there's nothing more resilient than an upset British person.
Oh no, there is nothing more. You cut up a British person in a queue, they'll be quite frustrated, but they actually won't do much about it.
Yeah.
They may cut, they may glare at you, but it's rare that someone will stand up to you and say that person's cut in with that action.
But yeah, you push them into a corner and say you can't do this or you can't do that or you're going to do this. Then the Brits can be a bit of a difficult beat. So anyway, we'll see how that.
So that's a bit of culture there. You don't get that on the news, do you?
No.
Well, a last thing on kind of news and coming up in the local area, popping over to Elstree. It's not really our area, but I believe on the 22nd of March, that's a week on Thursday, Question Time will be filmed. The well-known BBC.
Do you mean May?
May. I'm awful. I've been doing that all month. And all last month when I've been talking about May. 22nd of May, everyone. Question Time, I believe, is to be filmed in Elstree.
Well, do we know where? Is it? They don't say, do they?
Pardon?
They don't say where, do they?
Not sure, but I hopefully try to book. I've said I'm interested in going along, so that could be quite good. I'll report back the next day, but obviously go out live for those with a TV, and I can report back to the others who can't. So should be quite good. I don't know who's on the panel, who is, who isn't, but again, interesting.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add news-wise?
No, I mean, we talked very briefly last week about the mayor and Richard Harrington walking around the streets with the blindfolds on, as a kind of awareness of what it's like for blind people in Watford to go along and actually use the restaurants and eating facilities in Watford. And I think they tried 20 odd, and they actually got refused with their blind dogs at 7.
Yeah.
And questioned rather strongly in others. So clearly, the legislation on blind dogs appears to need to be a bit updated, I would think, because I would hardly think a blind dog is going to cause a ruckus in a restaurant.
To be fair, you don't need the dogs aren't blind, just in case anyone's got confused. It's not the dogs that are blind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, there was a company doing experiential activities, and one of them was to go into a restaurant which was completely pitch black.
Yeah.
And basically, you had to order your food and eat without being able to see anything. Perhaps not February the 14th venue, but it would be interesting to do that. I suspect you'd have a different view of how to behave around blind people if you went through that.
But how would you be able to see the menu? I'm curious, because how would
it must be braille, mustn't it, or something? I mean,
I wouldn't know. Unless the waiter explains to you that reads the menu to you, because I wouldn't know what any braille is, and I would kind of, I'll have this one, please.
Well, I suspect that you can ask them, what is on the menu, and
yeah. Moving on, quick.
Yep.
Talk about some charities we're working with. obviously last week we didn't get time to kind of congratulate the Michael Green Foundation on their quiz night, which happened. It was
Yeah,
29.
we were going to get a team together for that, but for some strange reason we completely missed it. So
We're unreliable.
bad on us.
It's fine. I
Yeah.
know how we can make amends.
Well, when's the presentation evening? Because there is a follow-up event, isn't there?
Later this month, I'll speak to someone today from them. I meant to speak to them. Presentation evening, but
What did they raise? £4,000, wasn't it?
I'm not sure. I'll see if I can get some numbers for next week. I haven't got anything. I haven't seen anything fighting around, but
I think it was
they're doing some good stuff. And speaking to Catherine last week at the CSR lunch, she was really positive about it and the future as well. They've been working hard with Three Rivers Trust, so to get a video made up, which seems positive.
Yeah.
Moving on, if we missed one charity quiz night, there's another one coming up. If you're interested to know.
Who's this for?
The Watford Women's Centre.
Oh, really?
Yeah. 27th of June in St Albans.
And St Albans. Why is it the St Albans?
Because that's where maybe they've got a discount in the hotel. It's in the Verulam Hotel, I think. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me consult the community. All the information you need to know is on the L4G community, which is steadily growing. We got to nearly 80 this week, by the end of the week. So
that's on the L4G Watford thing, yeah?
That's on the L4G Watford thing. It's in St Albans. Ticket costs £10 including food, and the money raised will help the Women's Centre renew its IT equipment.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I mentioned that to Diane last week about it would be helpful if the IT equipment was at the same revision and they all were singing off the same hymn sheet. Because if you've got, it's a false economy when you've got lots of different types of equipment, because whoever you engage has got to first of all understand the environment on that machine, and if they're all different, you start having problems with connectivity and printing and all this kind of stuff. So if you've got all the equipment at the same level, it makes the maintenance and the support far easier.
Yeah. So obviously we'll have to get something down. We've got a month and a half, but we'll look to get to that one. And I'll find out the date for when the presentation evening is.
What day is that? Is that a Tuesday or?
The 27th of June, be a Friday night.
Okay, because I think I've got something going on the 25th or something.
25th is a Wednesday.
Yeah, there might be something I'm going to on the 25th. Anyway, that looks Friday night. It's a Friday night, is it?
Friday night, so we can go and do that. We'll get a Watford team together.
Okay.
Me, you, Tanya, see who else is around. Zoe.
Yeah. Okay.
One last thing I picked up from one of the local news establishments. I won't mention their name. Don't want to give out any advertising. Do you remember Golden Giving? They've been to a few of the CSR lunches.
I do. Yeah, they were supposed to come last week, actually.
Yeah, we don't hold that against them. What they do? Did you ask me what do they do exactly?
Well, they help charities get money, don't they?
Yeah. Do you know how they do that?
No.
I can tell you, because what they do is they can give it's online, you pay online, but what most companies do is they charge charities a fee to use the service. So what Golden Giving do is they look to give charities 100% of the money. So I would imagine the fee probably comes out of the donators' money, not the donees' money. So you pay slightly more, but say how much you want to give to the charity. The charity gets that much, but maybe you add an extra £1 to. But what they try to do is cut out fees for the charities end, so the charities get 100% of the donated money.
Right.
And that's been backed by both Richard Harrington and Watford Three Rivers Trust over the last few days, so they're obviously doing good work.
Oh, okay. So where did that? Oh, that manifested itself in the local newspaper, did it?
Yeah, it did in that local establishment.
Have we got a link to that electronic? We can bung that on the L4G Watford thing.
I'll find one. If not, I'll take a photo of it.
We could do a hashtag credit to the said newspaper.
Yeah, that's about it from the news. I mean, I don't know. I'll hand over to you. You can talk about the events we've done the last couple of weeks.
Well, okay. What, in Watford?
Yeah, in Southwest Arts.
Well, this week just gone, the only event that we had in Southwest Hearts, apart from the CSR lunch on the Friday before, but we mentioned that I think no, we didn't mention it last week, but anyway, we had the CSR luncheon, which is where businesses and charities can come together and we can see how we can help each other. And that's been running now for, well, since last October, I think. So, hopefully we'll get a few more charities this month. It's one of the things that definitely on my hit list is you've got a Twitter list with charities on it. There's a few charities that I've been given the names of that I want to add to the list of potentials, and I really want to just contact 4 or 5 of them and really get cracking with them. Hopefully we'll be able to start working with some of the colleges. I've got the name of the person in Watford, I just haven't got around to sending her an email yet.
Yeah.
Well, I will get that done on Monday. And then on Wednesday we had the coffee down at Regis on Clowner Road.
Mm-hmm.
That was quite an interesting event, and there was a few people. There was a couple of people there working for the De Vere Group, and not a lot of people know this, but there's a hotel. Well, it's not a hotel; it's a conferencing and wedding reception venue called Hunton Park, which is not a million miles away from the Grove down near Hunton Bridge roundabout. And to be honest, I've lived in Watford for a long time, longer than you've been around, young man. And I never knew it was there. I never knew this place was there, and it's not like a small place, right? It's just tucked out of the way, and unless you go down there with your eyes open, and you take note of it, you wouldn't really know about it. It's sort of and they do a lot of conferencing and weddings, as I said. And the guy there who came along was the marketing guy, and there's a lady there as well with him. And what he does regionally, he looks after 6 of their De Vere hotel places locally, and she's national. What was really confusing was they had the same surname, so it looked like husband and wife team, but they just weren't related at all. So that sparked a bit of amusement towards the end of the meeting when they handed out their cards. It's like, oh, we didn't realise you were together. Well, we are together, but we're not really. Not in the way you think we're together.
We're professionally together, not personally together.
That's really, yeah. So that was quite a bit of fun. But yeah, so they were there, and I was, just as a little side, I was saying, don't you get people do videos of their weddings or their banqueting or whatever they do down there? And they said, oh yeah, all the time. I said, well, why aren't you repurposing some of those videos in a place where other people can see them, vis-a-vis the L4G Watford community? Because it's all free advertising, and it's got nothing to do with De Vere's corporate imagery or anything. It's just people saying we had a good time down at this place. I think there's a lot of free advertising to be had there, and they could just be doing that. But anyway, quite interesting to see their position from a corporate perspective. We had a couple of people from the actual Regis down there, and we had an electrician guy over there as well, and we had a magician there.
Did he? No, did he just disappear at the end?
He did disappear. not with the magic box idea, no.
Right.
It was quite interesting. Who's that really famous guy that does all the really spectacular stuff, like putting a card through glass and putting a phone in?
Why is it in him? I can think of Paul Daniels.
No, not Paul Daniels. I met down in Gravesend the other month, but anyway, he was saying the guy's a complete fraud. He can't do any of that in reality. All he can, he's rubbish actually. But on TV with it's all camera tricks.
So like Darren Brown or.
Well, Darren Brown apparently there is a lot of potential for camera tricks and stuff, but actually he's quite good live as well.
Dynamo.
Dynamo's your man. That's the guy.
Yeah.
Complete fraud. A bit of a weirdo.
Camera tricks and stuff.
Yeah. So.
Oh well, that's off my list for tonight then.
Yeah. So anyway, so that was quite good, and we had a few other people down there as well. So it was a good meeting really, and I'm going to try and get Nick, who's the magician, on to do a few card tricks on the show.
That'll be good. Brilliant. Sounds interesting. Do we have any feedback from yesterday's event at the Mercury, or have you looked to get any feedback? Obviously, probably not.
No, because I was in Redcar and then in Cardiff, so I didn't actually get to find out what happened there. But I will contact Derek, who was down there, and I think Sandra, who was at the market last week, she came on Saturday.
All right.
And I think she booked in on yesterday.
They were the two. I think there was her booked in. I don't know if anyone else has booked in.
Right, okay.
There may be Tony might have been there, and a few others, the regulars might have been there.
Some Wilkins or something, but yeah. So, but hopefully it should settle down next month, and I should be able to do proper promotion for the events and actually get along to these things, which would be good.
Yeah, since you haven't been there since January.
Yeah.
You forget who you are.
Forget who I am. No, don't forget who I am. So anyway, so that's the events. Next week, of course, we've got
What for drinks?
We've got What for Drinks on Thursday, preceded by me being at coffee in Cardiff Bay.
Of course, and preceded by me meeting Stanmore College.
Yeah, you're meeting Stanmore College. When are you doing that?
On Thursday.
Thursday.
So that should be good. And another bit of update. It looks like, thanks to Lynn Sparks, who helps run the Hatfield, who will run the Hatfield coffees, there's some certain interest from Herts Chamber of Commerce about getting involved with L4GU, which is really positive. And we'll have to go over.
She copied you in on that email, did she?
Yeah. Otherwise, how would I know about it?
I don't know, because I was going to tell you, but then I assumed that she must have contacted you directly.
Yeah, she copied me.
The other thing is that she's also told me that there is a Welling and Hatfield Chamber meeting in June, at which Grant Shapps will be.
All right.
So I'm going to get myself booked into that and go along.
All right. Is it just, can you go to these meetings as a member of the public?
Well, you can go along as a non-member.
All right.
She's invited me anyway, so I'll go along.
Okay. So you can be the +1. Fine.
Well, yeah, I can be.
Yeah. Moving on, obviously, I was going to talk about what for drinks next week. Again, 6 till 9. Or 6. It's meant to be 6 till 9. It's generally 6 till whenever we stagger home.
Yeah.
6 till whenever you want to leave.
Yes, that's at the Wetherspoons pub in the High Street in Watford, 6 o'clock through till 9, or whenever you fancy going home.
Yeah.
We normally have something to eat, but that's optional. People do, some people don't.
It generally helps. We figured it out.
Yeah, don't drink the water. Apparently, it's toxic.
Yeah. Speaking of water, there was a problem with Watford Hospital with some water, I believe, this week. They had to bring in bottled water.
Really?
Yeah, just because they had a little problem, but it's all sorted now and all resolved.
I'll tell you just a little aside there, just while we're talking about some problems. I was in this bar in the Park Plaza Hotel in Cardiff last night for Cardiff drinks, and I ordered a pint of cream flow Worthingtons. And it came over and it was a little bit cloudy, not massively, a little bit, but tasted a little bit bitter. So I took it back and I said, look, I think I'd sooner have another one of these, but not this one because it doesn't taste very good. So he brought another one out and it was the same. And I said, look, I tell you what, I'll have a pint of Grolsch instead. And then when he came round to ask me if I wanted another pint, I said, I'll have another pint of Grolsch. So I've taken all the beers off. There's a problem in the cellar.
Oh, no.
So it was because I had raised the question. Apparently, all the coolers had packed up.
Yeah.
So my super tongue had detected an issue before they realised they had an issue. By the by.
Anything else you want to add on kind of community news? Obviously, the newsletter's out, which contains a bit more information about what's going on. So have a read of that.
Watford newsletter's out. There's also a blog post that I wrote that I put into the L4G community, which kind of goes through about the G Plus platform and all the things we're looking to do locally. And of course, we're quite advanced in South West Hearts because we've got this TV show going, and we're kind of rolling ahead and doing stuff because that's the kind of pioneering area we live in.
Yeah. Moving on, did you want to talk about anything else before I move on to the kind of election special?
Yeah, I want to just talk a bit about sport.
All right.
Well, apart from the 10K thing that you were at last week, I did put a post up on the forum. There is a charity in Watford called Urban Table Tennis Charity. Mm-hmm. And what they do is they are a charity to provide extra training to particularly talented youngsters who may not be able to afford to do training. So they send them to Hungary and send them to different parts and pay for entries into international tournaments and stuff like this and their flights. And of course, when you're sending a minor overseas, you have to send a coach with them to look after them. So it's not just the person who's playing that's got to have accommodation and flights. It's actually the coach at the same time. But the guy that runs it, Gergely Erdogan, he's my mate. He's the guy that runs the table tennis. They've got an under 13, 11-year-old that won the national under. I think the kid's 10 or it's a girl or 9 or 10. But won the under-11 national schools champion and has got selected to play in some international event at that age. And another one of their players, she won the under-13s, and she's actually the under-15 national champion as well. But she's won the under-13 schools. Right. She's been selected to play in France or Spain or somewhere for England. Mm-hmm. And these are all being coached by Urban Table Tennis, which is a Watford registered charity. They don't live in Watford, but the charity is actually set up here. So
that's really good news. Good news. So obviously, you should look to get maybe someone from the club on to kind of say more about the charity and how people watching can help.
Yeah, and there's a local coach firm called MET Coaches with Peter Evans, and I believe he is sponsoring one of those girls. But also there's a girl who they do coach as well, who's Welsh, and she plays for Wales. And Peter's from Wales anyway, so he's also sponsoring her as well. So,
is there any room for Link for Growth getting sponsorships locally? That'd be quite good.
Yeah, we will do, but the trouble is Link for Growth is a national organisation, so yeah, it's difficult to earmark scarce funds specifically to a local charity. We'd probably need to vote on that from a central on what's most deserving. So it's a bit down the line.
Yeah, put down the line. Moving on, speaking kind of voting, nice link there. I think we did. Council elections, 22nd of this month. I was going to say May again. I was actually going to say June, but the 22nd is council elections. Two of the parties have announced their candidates. Everyone's announced a candidate, sorry, but have put out their manifestos. I'm going to start with the incumbent, Ms. Dorothy Thornhill. I'll go through what she says and what she's looking to do, and then get your view after it. So her idea is to create what she called a cafe culture on the parade. So giving the bars and restaurants an extended license so they can bring out tables and chairs and create more kind of continental cafe culture where you'd sit outside like you can do in Zinco's and other restaurants out there, and you can have a cup of coffee and a meal outside and enjoy a cafe culture is what she called it. It sounds quite interesting and promising. More car parking she wants in Watford, so I think she's looking. The council have taken over Gage, Sutton and the other one, I can't remember what it's called.
Queens?
No, it was one of the smaller ones. They've taken up control of those car parks and may look to redevelop them to get more parking available for people in Watford. More taxi ranks, obviously, not just around the town centre and the station, but across the whole of the town, so more people can get taxis around, regardless of where they live. And the interesting one I saw, kind of her last point, improving parks and allotments. I thought I'd just pause there and see if there's any.
Improving parks and allotments.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that being a sensible policy. It doesn't go against anything else they're doing. So, good luck to them. I mean, I don't know if you've got any views on what she's standing up for and stuff.
Is that the substance of it? Just that lot?
That's the kind of, they're the highlights. Obviously, they're like keeping council tax the same, but I'm going for the juicy bits. I mean, no one wants to hear me talk about council tax and stuff, do they?
I mean, don't get me wrong, but have we got a shortage of taxis then?
I'll consult the sources and see if I can get back to something, but she was talking about increasing the amount of ranks rather than just taxis themselves.
All right. Okay, because we've got Eagles up the top of the town, we've got Luckett's, we've got taxi firm down in Abbots Langley, Abbots Langley Cars.
There's one at Bushy Station.
Sorry?
There's the one at Bushy Station, New Line.
You got one Amber Cars.
Yeah.
Which I think are in North Watford.
You've also got the ones that drop off at the state, the ones who just are individual taxis at the station.
Yeah, those ones, yeah.
But so kind of, if I think out of 10, what would you score her from what you've read, what you've heard?
3.
All right, I'll move on to Labour, whose candidate Jaghir Singh Dancer. I'll apologise now because I don't know how to pronounce your name, sir. If you would like to come on.
He's Labour, isn't he?
Pardon?
He's Labour.
He's the Labour candidate. I believe he's currently a ward councillor and is looking to step up to the main gig, become mayor. So.
These are the mayoral candidates.
These are the mayoral candidates, yes.
Okay.
His first thing was he actually wants to reduce his own salary by 20%.
Okay. Radical.
So obviously using that as a way of saving Watford money to invest. He also wants the ability for councils to start collecting bulky items from residents so that you don't get a fly tip. So, for example, that cabinet you have over there, if you considered it bulky and you couldn't dispose of it yourself, you would phone the council and they would help you dispose of it.
They do that already.
Obviously, that's what I read. It was,
I'm sure I've had the council pick up an armchair or a cabinet or something in the past. Now they may have stopped it, or they may charge you a tenner an item or a fiver an item or something. But they used to do that.
I think they said they were going to limit. I'll try and find some more information out and put it on the on the community, and then help for first-time buyers as well.
What, buy it for them?
Mortgages and deposits around housing, so getting more people onto housing rather in Watford.
What? How?
Giving almost like help to buy, lowering the cost of the deposit so they can, because most people can afford the monthly repayments of the mortgage, but can't afford the deposit. So almost it's a local help to buy scheme.
Good luck with that one.
So again, I haven't been very fair on him because he didn't have as much in there as Dorothy Thornhill. So all right,
where did you pick these up from, by the way?
The local paper.
Okay, I mean,
but I would imagine they'll all be online and stuff, so you can. I urge people to go away who can vote to go and have a read of them. Don't just judge it on me because I don't think I'd vote any of these with this service.
But did he have as much space as Dorothy in the paper?
Yeah, they had about a quarter of a page each.
Oh, okay, so they had about.
Yeah, so I mean, if you imagine one page of the paper, kind of, it was like. Dorothy was that bit and he had that bit, but they had kind of 2 bars each.
Right, okay.
All right, I'll give you a couple of minutes. All right, this is your time to speak to the people of Watford to see what you would do. I mean, it's very easy to criticise Dorothy Thornhill and the other candidates about what they're doing wrong, what would you do right? What would be your manifesto?
Right, well, my manifesto, first of all, I would attempt to do something about youth unemployment, and what I would do is what we're doing, exactly what we're doing with Link for Growth right now, which is where we're working with the colleges, and the colleges have got real problems getting the students into work placements, and what we're effectively doing at the moment is teaching kids to, and they come out of their college with basically not the skills that businesses want. So we're basically creating young adults for a workplace that no longer exists. So what I would propose doing, and this would solve a couple of issues, is I would propose we work with the colleges to get them more involved in the community, so working with the charities, working with the local independent traders to help them have better online presence. So that, and this would do a number of things. First of all, it would allow the charities and the independent shops to be found more easily online, because these people don't know what they're doing online. They've got no idea. They don't have the skills inside their organisations or their businesses. So get the students to do this. Now, this is real valuable talent. This is real using modern technology, teaching the students to use things that are going to be needed by businesses and charities, not stuff that was useful 10 years ago or 5 years ago. So it solves a problem and the work experience gets delivered. They can roll that into a 2-year project for the colleges, into their, I don't know, media and journalism and all these other different types of online technologies that must exist as courses. Get them involved in the community so they start to know what's out there, start to participate, start to integrate, get them to start measuring the performance of what they've done for these bits so that they can see the results of their effort, what they've done, and get a real live project, not some dead duck thing that they're just doing in the classroom, but they're actually involved in a real regeneration of Watford project. And then they come out of that situation with a more skills, employability skills that people need. But the spin-off is that all the traders and the people in the town can be found more easily, so people can start to use and buy local, because you know Link for Growth is about buying local. So we want people to start to buy local. But how do you do that? You can only do that if they can find these people. And it's the same with the charities. Yeah, it's not about money with charities, it's about connections. It's about how many people know the charities exist in the first place. And the more people that know they're there, then the more people that are likely to either contribute some finance, if that's something they can do, or maybe step up and say, do you know what, I'd like to help out. I think it's really important what you're doing. So yeah, we can start to regrow the local economy. Now, I'm sure that collecting bulky items is important, but this is a real tangible thing that solves quite a lot of problems in the local community. And you get people to start, and these young people need to understand that they can make a contribution, they are valuable, and that they are appreciated, and they can really make a difference. And you can imagine some of these people are going to go, well, I could run a business like that, I could get involved in that charity. So we really do start to do something positive with the young people and drive it forward, because people say, oh, the young people, they're so listless, they're apathetic, and you're in that age group, Alex, and there's a load of apathy out there. There's loads of young people out there that are feeling pretty helpless and pretty hopeless about their future. And who can blame them? 1.47 trillion in personal debt in this country alone, no chance of getting on the housing ladder, buy a car, they can't afford to run it or insure it, and no chance of a job. I mean, but they did what we told them to do. They went to school, they studied hard, they went and got a degree, they went and got their college diploma, and they still haven't got any work. So what we sold them as a concept didn't work, and you can't help but say but feel their pain. And what we've got to do as responsible middle-aged people is say, hands up, we messed up, we got it wrong. What we're going to do is we're going to get together with some people who are kind of new, enlightened, middle-aged people, and we're going to help you create the future that you want. Now, this is real stuff. This is stuff everyone in the community can participate in. And this is the kind of change we need here. And right across the country, it's not just Watford, everywhere. I just think these 20% of my salary, what difference is that going to make? It's like, it's what, £5 or something, or 10 grand?
His salary, I believe, was £80,000. So you're talking 20 grand.
So £16,000, right? It's not. You know, like they've spent £500,000 getting and £21,000 on some consultant or other. Right? It's nothing in the big scheme of things. So that's just a showboating news thing. That is. There's nothing else. No substance to it whatsoever. And yeah, cleaning up the parks. I tell you what. Why don't we start a little mini organisation of local people and we'll go and clean the parks up. Get a load of people, go down there, build a bit of community, get people talking to each other. We'll go down there. Council, if you're listening, lend us the tools. We'll go and sweep the leaves up and we'll have a group of people doing it. Right? They do that in the churches, don't they? Church working parties. Wouldn't be a big deal to do it over the park. And what? That'd be building community. Not just, I'm going to go and spend more money cleaning up the parks. It's like that's nothing either. And what else was on our manifesto? I didn't write them down, but
it's all on the website.
There's not really much substance there, is there really, truthfully? That's my view.
Alright, there you go. Listeners, watchers, people on the road who have heard this, people who have heard other people listening, let us know your view, whether you agree with Chris, whether you agree with the Labour candidate, whether you agree with Dorothy Thornhill, whether you think they're all idiots. I'm not saying they're idiots. I'm just saying it's like there's bugger all substance behind it because they don't have the people's backing. And ultimately, the only people that can make a difference in Watford are the people of Watford. So the council should be talking to the people of Watford. The trouble is, people the people of Watford are sick and tired of all the lies and the deceit and all the nonsense that goes on. Look at what's happening with Farm Terrace, right? There's a consultant. They're being consulted after the decision is made, and then made to feel like, well, your views are important. Well, no, they're not, because you've already spent £500,000 on this project. It's like, clearly, you wouldn't have spent £500,000 throwing it down the toilet, would you? So £500,000 invested before they've actually got the go-ahead. What do they think? It's not going to go ahead? No, they think it's going to go ahead. Of course they do. So the consultation was basically a sop to try and con the people of Watford into buying into this prospect. And Dorothy gets all the newspaper coverage, and how much newspaper coverage does, say, Farm Terrace get? Nothing. So who do you think people are going to listen to? The only side of the story they've heard is one. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's not representative of the people of Watford. And what we need in Watford is people who actually want the best for the people of Watford. And, you know, all right, the Into thing and all that and improving parking or whatever, yeah, it's all about money. And I've no doubt that the cinema and the bowling alley and the more restaurants and all that is going to be excellent. I'm sure that's going to be a great thing for Watford, and it's going to be good for Watford. I'm not decrying some of the good work that's going on. I just think that that what we've got here is people making decisions and then saying, right, well, how do we con the people of Watford, or how do we persuade them with clever tools to vote the way we want them to? And actually, it's not right. But anyway, that's my view. Okay.
But I don't have any political bias either way. I mean, to be honest, you know, Dorothy's done, you know, there will be lots of people out there that say that she's done some amazing work for Watford. I know people that are verbal the other way, but you can't please everybody all the time, and that's one of the challenges of being in politics. Is it's you know, there are winners and losers, but actually my view is that in the new paradigm there should be winners and winners, you know, and everybody should be able to win. Like the college concept that I've been talking about, there are no losers in that. You've got the students benefiting, the college benefits, the community benefits, local business benefits. Everybody wins, and I'm sure that there are projects that can be done throughout Watford that will benefit people, and there won't be losers. And we've just got to do more of them, so find them or create them and get on with them.
Mm-hmm. All right, interesting stuff.
Yeah, no, I hope so.
Anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
Sorry, say again?
Anything else you want to add in before we wrap up?
Yeah, no, I think that's about it. Well, hopefully we'll get some guests on next week. I'm around more next week, so I'm going to work hard in the early part of the week and get some. We might actually get a magician on, and there's a few other people that I've got earmarked for things on the show. So watch this space, as it were.
Interesting stuff. Good stuff. All right. I think we can leave it there for this week.
Yeah, okay. Well, thanks for doing the research, Alex. It's
No problem.
stepping in the breach as always. So, yeah, that's cheerio from you then, Alex.
Yeah, it's a goodbye from you.
And goodbye from me indeed. Okay. Cheers, everybody, and thanks for watching.